The billionaire watched in stunned silence as her 8-year-old daughter, who had not spoken a single word since surviving a devastating accident 2 years earlier, suddenly walked across a sunny playground and whispered to a complete stranger. Tears filled the mother's eyes as the little girl reached for the hand of a quiet single father sitting alone on a park bench. What she could never have imagined was that the humble mechanic comforting her child had once served as a Navy SEAL, carrying invisible scars that made him understand silence better than anyone else. Magazine covers celebrated her success, investors admired her vision, and competitors respected her leadership. Yet none of her achievements could heal the heartbreak waiting for her every afternoon when she returned home to her daughter, Elodie. Since the tragic car accident that had taken Elodie's father, the cheerful little girl had stopped speaking. Specialists diagnosed severe trauma-induced selective mutism. Every treatment offered hope before ending in disappointment. Each Sunday afternoon, Cecilia brought Elodie to the city's botanical gardens, believing the peaceful surroundings might comfort her wounded heart. The little girl quietly sketched flowers while other children laughed nearby. She never joined them. One bright afternoon another regular visitor arrived with his young son. His name was Bryce Callahan. Bryce lived modestly, working as an auto mechanic after retiring from military service. Few people knew he had once been part of an elite Navy SEAL unit. After losing his wife to cancer, he chose a quieter life devoted entirely to raising his 7-year-old son, Owen. He rarely spoke about his past because he believed the greatest victories happened long after people stopped wearing uniforms. Owen happily chased butterflies across the garden while Bryce repaired a loose wooden bench with a small toolkit he always carried in his truck. He believed leaving every place slightly better than he found it was simply the right thing to do. Elodie quietly watched. For the first time in months, curiosity replaced fear. She slowly approached Bryce while clutching her sketchbook against her chest. Without looking surprised or asking questions, Bryce simply smiled gently and continued tightening the final screw on the bench. He understood that frightened hearts needed patience instead of pressure. A long moment passed. Then Elodie softly spoke. She asked if butterflies remembered where they were born. The simple question shattered Cecilia's heart in the most beautiful way imaginable. It was the first sentence her daughter had spoken in nearly 2 years. Tears streamed down Cecilia's face as she watched Bryce answer with warmth, never making the little girl feel unusual for breaking her silence. From that afternoon forward, the families met every Sunday beneath the bright afternoon sun. Owen included Elodie in harmless games without expecting conversation. Bryce quietly encouraged confidence through simple adventures like feeding ducks, planting flowers, and building tiny birdhouses from leftover wood in his garage. Little by little, Elodie smiled again. Her words returned slowly. Each sentence felt like a miracle. One afternoon an elderly visitor collapsed from exhaustion near the garden entrance. Before anyone understood what had happened, Bryce reacted instantly. His calm movements, clear instructions, and life-saving first aid revealed years of extraordinary training. Paramedics later praised his quick thinking, explaining his actions had likely saved the man's life before they arrived. Cecilia finally asked how an ordinary mechanic knew exactly what to do. Only then did Bryce quietly admit he had spent years serving as a Navy SEAL before choosing family over military life. He explained that many people believed soldiers feared nothing, but the truth was different. Even the strongest warriors carried invisible wounds. After losing his wife, he understood grief, loneliness, and silent suffering better than anyone realized. His honesty changed something inside Cecilia. For years she had tried to fix her daughter's pain using money, specialists, and endless appointments. Bryce had simply offered patience. He never tried to repair Elodie. He accepted her exactly as she was. Inspired by his kindness, Cecilia created a charitable foundation providing free emotional support programs for grieving children and widowed parents. Instead of expensive offices, many activities happened outdoors where families could reconnect through nature, creativity, and friendship. Bryce volunteered every weekend, teaching resilience not through speeches but through simple acts of service. He repaired playground equipment, coached children during outdoor games, and reminded every parent that healing could never be forced. Months passed, and Elodie gradually transformed into the joyful little girl Cecilia remembered before tragedy entered their lives. Her laughter echoed through the gardens where silence had once lived. Owen became her closest friend, and Bryce became someone both mother and daughter deeply trusted. Cecilia eventually realized the greatest gift Bryce had ever offered wasn't his military experience or his courage under pressure. It was his ability to sit quietly beside broken people without asking them to become whole overnight. Before we reach the end of this emotional story, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment telling us whether you believe patience and unconditional kindness can heal wounds that words alone never could. As another beautiful afternoon filled the botanical gardens with sunlight, blooming flowers, and children's laughter, Cecilia watched Elodie race through the grass beside Owen while Bryce smiled from a nearby bench. She finally understood that miracles rarely arrive wearing expensive suits or seeking recognition. Sometimes they arrive dressed in work clothes, carrying hidden scars, and offering nothing more than quiet compassion. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Always remember that the strongest heroes are often the ones who ask for no applause, because changing one life with kindness is the greatest victory they could ever achieve.